This summer, I have not traveled to Europe. I have not traveled to Asia. I have not even traveled to the Hamptons or gone to Burning Man. So this was a pretty unusual summer for me. Today is September 1st when I'm recording this video. Hopefully we'll be posting it the same day. And it's like people ask me like, "Oh, how come? Why did you decide to just sort of like, not go anywhere this summer?" And it's kind of interesting for me because when the summer started right after my birthday is in the middle of May. I remember I promised myself that I'm going to stop distracting myself, with a bunch of different overstimulation that's so present in our day and time. And instead, I'm going to focus on myself and I'm going to focus on the things that I've always wanted to do, but never had a chance to, either because I was too busy with something else or because, I was distracting myself with all the stimulation of travel, experiences, and fun. So yes, essentially, long story short, this summer I decided to sacrifice travel, but to actually stop delaying things that I always wanted to do and to start creating them, start building them. And, I have never felt more accomplished and more proud of myself by the end of the summer. On August 31st, yesterday, I felt this immense joy, gratitude, and pride in myself because I looked at what I accomplished over the short 3 summer months. And even August, I, was kind of like relaxing more so. But I was so impressed with myself. I finally have launched my debut art collection, something that I always thought was never going to happen, for various reasons. I have started my own gallery, which I never thought I was going to do it, to be honest. It was a dream for many years. It was something that I always thought was going to cool, to do. But I thought like one day, like how we all have these projects, right? One day I'm going to do this. One day, well, not the right time. This summer for me was like all the things I've ever wanted to do just because, I have consciously decided to stop delaying my own life, stop delaying my own blessings, and okay, let's go for it now. Just because I made that one decision and said, you know what, instead of spending, I don't know how much I'm going to spend right now on a trip to, to France or anywhere else, Ibiza or whatever, and probably not going to be happy because I'm spending so much money. There is no AC. And like essentially summer ends and you're kind of like just where you were when you started. I said, instead of doing all that, which I've had a lot of summers where I traveled and gone to Burning Man's and the Hamptons and the Europe and whatever. Instead of doing this, something that I've done a million times, well, maybe not a million, but something I can always do, I was like, how about I dedicate my summer to my goals? And again, I was super, super happy with this. I was super happy with the results. And let me know, you guys, how did you spend your summer? Were you traveling? Were you working? Because I feel that when you are in the stage of life where you're still building yourself up, still creating things, sometimes the flex is to do less, like to have the kind of freedom to say that, you know what, I am not going, to this event or to this party, but you know what, I am going to get my 10 hours of sleep, or I am going to have 24 hours for myself to build and create what I want for myself. I feel like it's a bigger flex, at least where I am in my life. I think people sometimes judge and misunderstand you, make all kind of stories about you. I've definitely experienced that. The more I claimed and the more I started rising to the more full and unapologetic version of me. But really what a lot of people don't realize is that anyone can create, amazing results in their life, but it requires certain choices. Like, again, a lot of my friends are right now coming back from Burning Man. I could have gone too, but I was like, you know what, I'm going to spend 10, 15 grand there because it always adds up even when you're not planning to spend this much. And of course, you can go to Burning Man spending much less than that. Or I can have this money, like give me more extra time instead of, selling out, doing jobs I don't want to do, working with clients I don't want to work with anymore. Instead of that, I can maybe buy myself some time to work on the things I actually want to do, to have the experiences I actually want to have. And I think when you understand that, in life, a lot of these things are not necessarily a matter of some kind of luxury or privilege or anything, but a matter of priorities and choices you make, everything shifts. Because again, I was in this loop where 4 years. I was in this client-based business, which I loved at one point, especially when I was like in my digital nomads era. But at some point, I've really outgrown it. I got very exhausted. I got very tired of it. I felt a lot of resentment because I felt like there's all these other things I want to do. And, I keep getting stuck in the same place. And when I became genuinely honest with myself and I ask myself, why am I stuck here? I realize it's because of financial choices I make. Because again, there was summer 2023 where I could have, made a transition out of something I've outgrown, something I was tired of. But instead I went to Ibiza. Instead, I, kept overspending money, and then kept overworking myself. And at some point where I became genuinely honest with myself, I realized that yes, it might hurt at first. Maybe I will need to adjust some of my life choices, but it's totally possible for me to make the transition that I want. And I think sometimes this kind of brutal honesty is what we need in life, because again, yes, of course, every situation is different, but most of the time, especially if you live in America, countries where there's relatively more opportunities, etc., you can make the transition that you want to make, but it's going to require to actually adjust some things. Like this summer for me was a proof of that. Really, it's not about, some kind of magical solutions or, something crazy needs to happen, the stars need to align, etc. But it's really about priorities and choices. I decided to live a relatively more, I want to say, modest lifestyle. I'm still in Miami. I don't know how modest can it get here. But I said, like, you know what? I'm going to cut off what's unessential. But I'm actually going to give myself the time and the luxury to create and to do things that I want. And I think when I did that, like, this is where magic started flowing. So this summer, again, yes, I have debuted my first art collection, finally. I have started my own gallery, something I always wanted to do. And I have also immersed myself into studying and working with AI, with artificial intelligence, trying to learn as much as I can. I have learned vibe coding. It was pretty exciting. I've even created my first, vibe coding products at the time. So I kind of decided to just dedicate the summer to myself, to the skills I want to develop, to the things, I'm passionate about and want to learn, and allow myself to essentially become obsessed with it. And, again, you might have done something different with your summer. But what I want to say, though, is that, 2025 is not over yet. We still have 4 months, right, to go in 2025. We still have 4 months, September, October, November, December. Yes, that's 4 months. And something I'm actually doing starting today, September 1st, is I'm starting this 100-day challenge where essentially I'm going to be focused on one specific, I call it macro activity. This is the main activity that's, that supports my main goals, plus 2 or 3 micro activities that are also compounding over time. So the way it looks like, for example, in my case, could be there is, main kind of like main time block of the day I'm dedicating to building my main projects that I'm working on. And the 3 micro activities could be something like, okay, I'm posting on X now regularly because I am building up my network there. I am, let's just say, posting like something on this channel. Like it could be, I consider this channel more like a fun one, because I finally, after years of like being in algorithms, chains and everything, can just post whatever, and like do it for fun, express myself in a fun, playful way, rather than, again, I don't want to talk too much about all my trauma of, previously being a content creator and being locked in boxes and everything else. But here I can just literally do things for fun, and I don't care. Anyone likes it, not like it. I can just be myself here, with a little bit of dose of course, humor. So yes, like something like a micro activity where I post something here, and like it could be even like one activity where, let's just say, every day I do like a yoga or work, on my posture, my abs, things like this. So essentially, I want to invite you guys to do this with me. Let's start this 100 days challenge, where for 100 days, let's finish 2025 strong. Like, you guys, there is still time to make, something incredible happen, and to always look back at 2025 as this year where, you finally turned your life around. So let's do a 100 days challenge. Again, for me personally, the way it looks like, one macro activity, like one main activity, something that I want to do, something that's important for me, my main work of the day, and 3 micro activities, which again, they don't have to take a lot of time. They could be literally just 2 minutes. Again, post on X could take 2 minutes. In my case, that's what I do. Post a short. I don't know, like maybe do something like for your posture, your abs, exercise, something like this that doesn't even take a lot of time. But again, if you do it consistently for 100 days, this is where things start compounding and the results start showing up. Now, I personally recommend to keep it also relatively simple, because sometimes when you start overcomplicating your schedule, this is where things start getting kind of confusing, and we want to keep it light and keep it simple. Like an example that I had, I guess, like of overcomplicating things for me was this August, which is, a vacation time for many people. And I set some unrealistic goals, if I'm honest with myself, in August. And like life pushed me to slow down a little bit. It was like, what are you doing? You have to rest sometimes as well a little bit before you can, start climbing that ladder, so to say, again. So I recommend, take a break for a few days before you start this challenge and keep it simple. And I feel like, if you do this, I'm so excited about this. It's like, by the time it's December, before it's even Christmas, you're going to be in a place where you will feel like, I'm proud of the person I'm becoming. Maybe it's not even going to be, to be honest, about the achievements or something you create, even though, if you dedicate yourself for 100 days to something, it's 100 aligned actions. It's 100 micro touches. Of course, it's going to compound. But even if it's not about some crazy result, it could quite literally just be about building, that consistency muscle as well, where you know that you dedicate yourself to yourself, that you are focused on, you're showing up for the things that really matter to you. And I think once you prove it to yourself, you don't have to really prove it to anyone else. Once you kind of like prove it to yourself that you're serious, you start seeing the outside world as well reflect that back to you. So let's go, you guys. Let's do this. It's 100 days. Let's finish 2025 strong. Before it's even, before it's even December, before it's even Christmas, I feel like if we go in this direction right now, by the time it's December, we're all going to be very, very happy with ourselves. It's like, again, you might have partied hard and might have traveled this summer, no judgment, have fun. Life is here to be enjoyed. Or you might have been like me in lock-in mode. I call it not lock-in, I call it obsession mode, because for me, I feel like I have better results when I, instead of trying to frame something as work or as job or as like even study, when I frame something as obsession and allow myself to fully get obsessed with something. Like this summer for me, this was artificial intelligence and AI. I will actually probably record some videos about that process too. But when you allow yourself to get obsessed with something, that's like, I think, the most interesting, because you no longer look at it like, oh, I have to do this, but you're like, oh my God, I want to do this. Like, let's do this kind of thing. So yes, I'm super excited for this challenge. Let me know in the comments down below what exactly are you working on. Again, you don't have to say exactly, but let me know what you're working on, what you're dedicating this 100 days to. I'm excited about this. And thank you guys so much for watching. I don't even know what else to add here, but essentially, yes, let's, you know how they say, if you start today, in 2 weeks, you're going to see it. In 4 weeks, you're going to feel it. In 6 weeks, it becomes a part of you. Something like that. You always see this on every September 1st, August 1st, whatever. So let's do this. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Give this video a big like. Don't forget to subscribe. And I'm going to see you soon. Bye.